Today, we're experiencing or exploring rather the fascinating topic of NDE or near death experience. Hi, and a hearty welcome to everyone tuning into today's podcast. We appreciate you taking the time to do so. And for the next 30 minutes or so, our amazing guest, Julien Horvath, discuss with us his fascinating journey of his life experience. This is Open Up, our 190th episode, a weekly podcast produced and hosted by Voice of Men 360, where we engage with innovative thinkers and influential leaders to address key issues that positively impact society, with a special emphasis on supporting men and boys. Hi, my name is Dipchand Ramcharitar. I'm the Outreach and Development Coordinator here at Voice of Men 360. Voice of Men 360 is a non-profit organization based in London, Ontario, Canada, and we primarily focus on the interests of men and boys, although we do reach out to other demographics as best we can. We are part of International Men's Day, which has been around for over 20 years and serves in more than 90 countries worldwide, advocating and supporting for the interests of men and boys as well. So here we are today with this intriguing topic, NDE, which if you do hear that during the podcast, it refers to near-death experience. And we have no other than Julien Horvath to enlighten us on this fascinating topic. So first of all, welcome Julien to the program. Give us please a short introduction and then we'll dive right into some questions. Julien.
Hi, thanks for welcoming me and inviting me in your show. It's a pleasure to be here and to share a bit of my story and hopefully inspire other people who are going through difficult times. So I had 14 years ago a near-death experience, which basically completely changed my life. Before that, I was a high velocity, high potential management consultant type, worked in New York and Paris and Amsterdam. And I had a kite surfing accident on my third lesson, and basically with brain trauma, physical trauma. And I really thought I would go back to work eventually a couple weeks later, but then it was clear that something in me was completely broken. And I really went into deep depression. I even told my mother, you should make decisions for me now because I don't trust myself anymore. So that was really a low point. And then after that, I started the journey of the reconnecting with myself, finding out who I am again and finding out happiness within myself. So that was quite a journey. And today I'm going to talk about, maybe mention some of these modalities that really helped me through the journey.
Absolutely. We certainly welcome your presence here and we look forward to a fascinating discussion. Before I go any further, I would like to run through our disclaimer. We would like to remind you that Voice of Men 360's mission is always delivered with good faith towards peaceful harmony. The views and opinions expressed in today's episode are those of our speakers and do not necessarily represent Voice of Men 360. Our organization engages in discussion forums to offer inspiration and create awareness of the issues of men who wish to overcome their life challenges. We are not providing medical or therapeutic advice. Should you require that type of assistance, we recommend you contact a medical professional immediately. If you have any questions or concerns about today's episode or any Voice of Men 360 content, please email us at info@voiceofmen360.org. Now, on with the show, and let's dive right in. Julien, first of all, what led you to this NDE? And again, for those who are not familiar, it refers to a near-death experience. And can you explain for those unfamiliar, what's it about?
So what led me to the NDE? Basically, I was in a time of my life when I was doing very well at work. I was a high potential employee. I was winning awards. I was elected chairman of the internal board of this multinational. And I was really, yeah, I was feeling like nearly invincible, you know?
Right.
And but my personal life was more, I had been through a breakup. I was engaged, and for 2 years I was a bit lost. And then I started to meditate, mindful meditation, 2 months before my accident. And I thought, well, let me pick up an outdoor sport so I can be outside. You know, this was in the Netherlands. And I thought, oh, kite surfing, it's outdoors at the beach. So perfect. And I took a couple lessons and there was no wind. And then one day there was just a day with too much wind. And at the beginning of the lesson, gust of wind pushed me up 10 meters, crashed me on the on the sand of the beach with a strong velocity. And I basically woke up 12 hours later in the hospital with a bandage on top of my eyes, not really knowing what happened. Um, and basically, I was told later that I had stopped breathing. The impact made me stop breathing on the beach, and I had to be reanimated. And eventually brought to the hospital where I was completely not aware of the severity of my accident. I had a right brain injury, so not having the ability to see the big picture. I would just to give you an example, I would repeat myself several times in the same sentence without realizing it, the same words. So it was quite intense experience, and I was in a very high level job, high intensity job. Um, in my work, and that basically ended from one day to the other, this ability to perform at such a high level.
Wow, that is some experience. I do apologize for any background noises here. That is beyond my control at this time. Hopefully, it will not disturb the flow of the program in any way. So, can you describe how that NDE influence your perspective on life's purpose and meaning?
Oh, that's a great question. It's an NDE. Basically, the first thing that happened afterwards was I really wanted to go back to the last good uh, like the good identity that I had before my accident. So I really made every effort to try to go back. And then I realized, like, because of this brain injury, the gift of it was that I realized that some of the things that I was doing, like eating, like doing, would take more energy than others. So I had to adjust some of the things that I did to make sure my energy was maximized. And it was a long journey, basically, of self-discovery. Like, what makes me feel better? What makes me, like, my brain activity go down? So that was really the sort of journey through the down in the valley. So yeah,
Wow. So overall, that would have had a positive impact on your life throughout.
I think, in any challenge, you can look at what it did to you and what you're missing, you don't have anymore, like my old career. And I did that for a while. I was holding on to this idea of myself and this happiness that I had in my head of myself before the accident. But every challenge has sort of a silver lining. What is this teaching me about myself? What am I made of, basically? Like, what I found out in this journey is really who is Julien? Am I the business guy? Am I the high velocity business guy, or am I, you know? And one interesting thing that I did after in the year after my accident is I asked all my friends from high school how I had changed and how I was before, and they said, "Yeah, you haven't changed. The essence of who you are is still there, but maybe you're more yourself now again," if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah. So, based on your personal experience, how can an NDE facilitate personal growth and transformation generally?
Well, that's for me, the NDE it helped me to really focus on what is important.
Right.
The health. What can I control in my daily life? My daily routine, how I take care of my body, what I eat, uh, how I heal myself.
Okay.
So, and the importance of having people around you, like family, like friends, that really look up to you and that really appreciate you for who you are, so that even with the accident, they still around you.
Right. So, I would think that there might be some common thread for people who actually experience it. But overall, there would also be some unique differences, I would assume, for each individual.
Yeah, absolutely, because we're all different and we respond to different things differently.
Right.
For me, one of the big things about this accident is that a couple years later, when I had completely given up, I was in depression. I was living in Singapore with my parents. I barely went out of the condo where we lived because I couldn't handle stimuli or stress or the busyness of the city. Is I came across the pranic healing and human design, that really two modalities that really helped me and motivated me to go through this journey, and that supported me in this journey.
Okay.
So
So, speaking of pranic healing, that leads us exactly into our next question. So, what drew you to pranic healing, and how do you integrate it in your day to day life?
yeah, so basically, we were in Singapore. I grew up in Asia basically, and I was living in Amsterdam at the time of my accident. I had to move back to Singapore because I told my mom I couldn't take care of myself. And my sister was living there. My brother ended up living there, and we were all sort of in a transition, like each of us going through our own traumas. And my brother became a pranic healer by chance to help me heal, and it transformed himself, and it basically really helped me and my physical health when I was really not doing well. It would really help me to focus to and then because of that, my parents started to do it, my sister did it, I did it, so the whole family went into pranic healing. And how I integrate it into my daily life is I do a lot of guided meditation, the twin heart meditation, which really is a healing meditation in itself, and it's really a powerful tool that I can see the difference when I do it and when I don't do it. And also today, for example, I did a self-healing. I could feel a bit unsettled, so in pranic healing, you learn how to do energy healing on yourself and on others, and basically I learned to do it on myself.
I'm not sure if you could actually share with us just briefly what it entails. Is it something like meditation where you sit and you focus on one thing, or do you have somebody guiding you through a different sort of a medium?
So the twin heart meditations, it's a guided meditation. So there's a voice that guides you. You do some physical exercise before to open up the energy vessels in your body. Your meditation for about 20 minutes. It opens up your physical heart, your spiritual heart, and there's a downpour of divine energy, like which is surrounding us
Right.
everywhere. And it at the end, you do some exercise to integrate the energy. And yeah, I can give you so many examples where I did it every day when I was not doing well at all,
Right.
and then my vibration changed. Like I would go in a restaurant and then people would turn and look at me because I felt better at a time when
Okay.
I was really not doing good.
Right. No, that's fine. We just wanted to have a sort of a general idea what it entails. So, that's quite interesting. Now, moving on to human design, what sparked your interest in that, and can you explain how it has helped navigate life challenges and make decisions that align with your true nature?
Yeah, another great question. So human design, I met somebody in Amsterdam, and I felt the energy was so relaxed because I was so sensitive to stress, but the person's energy was really super sweet, super nice, super relaxed, and we became friends, and he told me about human design, and he was sort of my first teacher. And basically, human design is based on your birth data, and it gives a blueprint of who you are that doesn't change your whole life. So by studying human design, I was able to study myself, to reconnect with my own mechanic, to reconnect with how to make correct decisions, how to navigate, so it was very psychological in a way, that the studies. And eventually I became certified because I thought this was a really great tool. So yeah, that's another tool, but it really helped me to refocus my brain. And I
Wow.
can, yeah.
Yeah, very, very fascinating. So, based on your experience, is that something you think the average person can benefit from?
Absolutely. If you're if it's, but it's not for everybody, of course, but if you're curious and open, it can really give you like simple tools to improve your life. And it's, what I like about human design as well as pranic healing is that they always tell you, don't believe blindly what is shared, the knowledge that is shared. It's an invitation for you to validate.
Right.
So
So,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, that's it.
Yeah. So, for the average person, I guess you would essentially just go in with an open mind, and if you have any questions or concerns, you would want to have them addressed, as opposed to some sort of a preconceived notion as what it would entail. A lot of people would be like worried or concerned, about what it would be about. But again, if you go in with an open mind, I think it will serve you better. Now, let's back up a bit to previous to all of this. You have a rich, diverse, worldwide background through a corporate lens, having worked in different capacities around the globe, including the USA, Japan, the Netherlands, and France. How has this experience benefited you since, putting aside your subsequent spiritual growth?
Yeah, that's a good question. Having lived in so many different cultures, having grown up in Japan when I was young, and being basically seeing the world from many different perspectives, allowed me to also take my recovery from different perspectives. I first did rehab in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and at some point the Dutch system, they said, well, we cannot do anything else anymore. Your long-term disability, da da da. And I gave up on big depression. I moved to Singapore to live with my parents, and in Singapore I did rehab in Eastern way in a hospital there, and then with the Eastern perspective. So not, there are so many ways to heal. There are so many ways to heal yourself. So that search didn't end when the system couldn't help me anymore. I went to look for other things to do to help me. And that's
Okay.
how I went also to Bali many times to find healers and this and that. And I tried so many different things.
Right.
And in the end, what I kept all these years is pranic healing and human design. And yeah, I feel it's these two modalities have really helped me and really inspire me to, wake up in the morning, do meditation, you know, understand myself, understand others.
Yeah. Well, that's, commendable that you've been through what you've been through, all that trauma, and bounce back, not only to overcome it to a certain degree, but also to be able to be willing to help other people accomplish or get ahead in terms of their own lives and the problems they might face. So that's commendable on your part. Now we are a men's and boys organization. When I say that, I mean we look after the interests of men and boys primarily. And so, having worked in now, you've worked in a myriad of countries under different situations. So, in that scenario, how can we best address the present issues? What do you think are the most present issues facing men and boys, and how do you think they can be best addressed? That's the first part, and the second part is: do you see a common pattern?
Yeah, if I look at all the places I've been and all the people in all the different countries, I think men everywhere, we have this tendency to sometimes listen too much to conditioning from culture, from families. Oh, you should do this, you should be like this, you should, and then you embark in a life that is not yours because you feel you have to do things how people expect you. So expectations. And often, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were finished. Go ahead, please.
And basically for me, the human design really helps you to realize what you really want to do. What is it inside you that you have to listen to that is showing you the way, basically. And
Okay.
and if you just listen, fine tune, because sometimes when the mind is going crazy all over the place,
Right.
you don't listen to the inner voice or whatever that thing inside you is guiding you, like, oh, you should go this way, but then your mind is going, oh, you should go the other way.
Yeah, that's true. And this kind of leads me, I think we've pretty much covered, well, part of it at least, with this current question. So the next question kind of embarks on a similar topic. How do you think societal expectations of masculinity can impact men's mental and emotional well-being, and what strategies uh, can help them rather overcome these challenges?
Yeah, maybe the biggest challenge is expectation of your family, your friends, your society, your culture, to be a certain way. And if I can say one thing is just observe what makes you glow, what makes you open. Why, sometimes people tell you, oh, you should do this, and you're like, yeah, I should do this. But then sometimes you do something and your energy completely changes. So listen to that. What is it? What makes you extra energetic, extra smiling, extra like, wow, excited, something that you can do. That's also a question I asked my parents and the people that I from high school, like, what was I doing that I could spend hours playing without being stopped when I was a kid? Because I had to reflect on that and I couldn't remember. But then my parents were like, oh yeah, you played with a strategy game, with Legos, with this, with that, and you could spend hours just playing by yourself like that. And that's my essence. I'm really strategic. I'm really like, I like to build things, to be an architect of something. So in a way, human design is exactly that. It's helping me, like, it's like a super strategic thing with so much information and I have to synthesize. So that's one example.
Yeah, well, it certainly keeps you busy and certainly helps you grow as an individual. So, moving forward in a similar vein, as someone who has managed multiple realms, corporate, spiritual, holistic, what advice would you offer men who are seeking a more balanced, meaningful life?
Go on retreats, go on spiritual retreats, go try things out for yourself, see what fits what you're looking for. Like if it's mindful meditation, if it's vipassana, 10 days no talking. Like find yourself in this quiet place of meditation, of healthy living. I think that's the best advice I could give myself. Like don't forget to ground within yourself. And
Right.
that you can do through retreats or through meditation or whatever. And there's so many with different ways to meditate and to heal, to self-develop. You just have to find the way where you're like, okay, wow, this is it. I feel so good here.
Yeah, because in Western culture, and I'm not saying this as a criticism, just an observation, we tend to rely more on conventional methods for medication and for growth, personal growth, and whatnot generally. And sometimes it might be helpful to delve into a little more of Eastern philosophy and combine it with Western as well, which sort of leads me to the other question in a way. Do you see room for any feasible union between modalities such as pranic healing and human design system? That's one side, and the other side is the conventional modern healthcare and wellness systems. Do you see the both of them combining that can translate into potentially healthier, happier people globally?
Absolutely, that's a great question, and I think absolutely. I think modern medicine is great, and that modalities like pranic healing, which is already used by doctors in the US, in Australia, in many countries, to help make the body heal itself faster. So it's not replacing, but it's just saying like, hey, if you eat healthy, you feel better. If you take care of your energy body, you feel better. So you're basically removing things in your energy body that maybe make you heal slower. And human design is just understanding yourself is great for mental health. That's and accepting yourself, because the number one sickness in the world is lack of self-love.
Right.
But if because you're trying to be somebody you're not, or whatever it is, but if you have a sort of tool that is very practical, that is validated by hundreds or thousands of charts, and you're like, oh, you're like this, that, then it can give you sort of like, oh yeah, so many people have told me, wow, I was doubting this in myself, and now you told me, and I'm like, wow. And it changes their life because they accept themselves.
Yeah, well, again, I don't want to downplay the importance of material things. We all need to have, the basics, food, shelter, things like that. And it doesn't hurt to have a few pennies in your pocket, absolutely. But I think that alone can't carry you through life. You need to have a spiritual side to have a more fulfilling and purposeful and unhappier life overall. I think the Bhutan, country up in the Himalayas, they don't focus too much on GDP as they do on something called the happiness index, and so they look give that some sort of priority as to how happy their citizens are, which is unique. But if it's working for them, and it might be a model on which other countries can ascribe to. So it's really intriguing area that one can probably benefit from if you spend more time on. Now,
It's
oh,
it's
sorry, go ahead.
it's yeah, sorry. It's funny you mentioned Bhutan, because I was in Bhutan in 2016 with my
Oh,
whole
wow.
family.
Right.
We went on a pranic healing retreat in
Oh, I see.
for Vesak, and the prime minister of Bhutan is a pranic healer. The queen and princesses of Bhutan are pranic healers. It's really big in pranic healing is big in Bhutan.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good that you were able to experience that. I've had relatives, like close relatives, who've been to Bhutan, and I was grateful that they were able to send us some videos, live videos, and pictures, and it looks as a really interesting place to visit. And again, from your experience and generally, I think a place that you can grow spiritually and overall as a human being. So, how do you see your life's journey and work contributing to a greater good? And what legacy do you hope to leave?
I think if I can live my life always trying to better myself and to be the better version of myself, I can also inspire people around me to be more healthy, more connected, to meditate, to be more themselves, and that through pranic healing, through human design, and giving them people the tool to navigate themselves into their own path. I think that could be my great way to leave a mark, to help people out, to help people who are suffering, who if I can alleviate some suffering with some healings that I do, or that I modalities that I share, then it's a great, there is nothing better, I think, for me to than to receive a message or text or voice note for somebody that says, wow, you told me this about my design, or you did this healing and it really helped me transform my life. Then I feel like, wow, this is quite nice.
Yeah, that's inspiring. Absolutely. It's it's always nice to have that sort of appreciation. You're out there, you're trying to assist, in a lot of cases voluntarily. Some people do it for money, and again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that when you're out there trying to help people and you get positive feedback, it certainly feels really good on the inside. Um, what do you have any final thoughts or recommendations you'd like to offer our audience, particularly those interested in exploring spiritual practices, number one, and number two, on supporting men's issues?
Yeah, I think meditation is always good to have in your life. If you feel lost, meditation, be it mindful meditation, guided meditation, it's always so important to be in a space with yourself, in front of yourself, so that you can observe what is going on, and then when you are facing some challenges, step by step by step by step by step, and see what happens. um, that's what I would, yeah, the advice I would give to the audience, to the men. um, it's okay to be yourself, it's okay to be authentic, it's okay to be transparent, it's okay to be radically honest. These are all the sort of values that I've come through all this spiritual practice, this human design, pranic. This is all my values of who I am, that sort of I reconnected with. And I'm really grateful to be myself, because if you are grateful to be yourself, then no matter what happens, it's okay.
Fantastic. So we're pretty much to the end of the program today. I have one final question for you. But before I get to it, I have some further information about our organization, Voice of Men 360. We would dearly love for you, as well as to invite as much people as possible to get involved with us in various ways. We would love to work with individuals, professionals, experts, community organizations, associations, corporations, government, official businesses, just personal people on the outside. Our phone number is 226-289-8784. Our email address is info@voiceofmen360.org. Our website is www.voiceofmen360.org. And we're pretty much on all social media. Facebook, we do have a Facebook page. Please join our group. And you can see there our daily activities, and of course, invite your friends. Our other social media platforms that we are found on would be Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. We do have a YouTube channel, a Voice of Men 360. and we would like you to please get involved with it, subscribe. We would dearly love for you to subscribe to it as well. And we look forward to engaging with as many people as possible. So that being said, we have one final question for you, Julien. Can you share your contact information with anyone out there interested in learning more about your work?
Sure. Yeah. What specifically you want my email address? Maybe that's the best way to
Yeah,
reach
email,
me.
whatever you can share, that people can get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can email me at Julien with an E, Julien, Horvath, Horvath @gmail.com. Happy to share some of the tools that helped me and guide a bit the people that are lost.
Okay, well, there you have it, folks. Julien Horvath, it's been a pleasure having you on. We certainly appreciate the time you spent and the knowledge and information that you've imparted to us all here. Thank you so much for being part of the broadcast. Thank you to all of you out there who took the time. We certainly appreciate your time to have this important discussion with Julien Horvath. And the guy in the background that you don't see who works really hard at it all is our president, Sivam Velautam. He's behind the controls. Thanks a lot, Sivam. And from all of us here at Voice of Men 360, have a good day. Goodbye now.
Thank you.